Okay. We are here under cause number CC-2022-DF-0029. This is in the matter of the guardianship of Gabriella Olguin Hinojoso. Okay. We are here. Okay. Hereby called a proposed ward. Is the applicant ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Jones, as attorney ad litem appointed by the court, are you ready to proceed?
I am, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Reyna, how many witnesses do you have for us today?
I'm going to have one witness.
Okay, good. All right, let's, Mrs. Olguin, or Miss Olguin, good to see you. Even though we're doing this by Zoom, this is still a court hearing, and I do need to place you under oath. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony that you're about to give in the matter before this court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Reyna.
Ms. Olguin, will you state your full name for the record, please?
Victoria Olguin.
Okay. And how are you, what is your relationship with Gabriella?
She's my daughter.
Okay. And how old is Gabriella?
She just turned 18 on the 27th of June.
Okay. And has Gabriella continuously lived with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And where do you currently live?
We live in our house. I have a housing authority.
Okay.
They help me with my bills so I can work with her schedule. So we live in a house with her little brother. We all have our own rooms.
Okay.
And stuff like that.
And is that here in Lubbock?
Yes.
Okay. And you mentioned a brother. Who all lives with you?
It's me, Gabriella, and her little brother.
Okay. And explain to the court why Gabriella needs a guardianship.
She has cerebral palsy. She can walk. She's very high function and not high function. She can walk and she's potty trained and she can feed herself, but I still have to help her. Like I still prepare her meals like a toddler. I have to cut her meat. I have to make sure she doesn't choke on it. I have to make sure everything it's pretty much right for her so she can feed herself. Because if it's not, she can't use a knife to cut. I'm sorry, but when she goes to the restroom, she also needs help wiping herself when she uses the bowel movements. Because if not, she thinks that if she just barely touches, she cleans herself and then she'll have bowel movements all over her. I still help her give her a bath. We're still learning that. She just needs a lot of guidance. She still makes her own decisions. We go to her art meetings at school and she gets involved in them and I let her make her own choices. She has her choice and she has her voice and I want to make sure she has that. And honestly, I don't want her to accidentally meet a man or a female or somebody of that sort to trick her that she's in love with them and they take advantage of her and make her marry them or something. She's 18, but she's like an elementary age. I just want to protect her.
Okay. Now, I know we've talked a little bit, but are there any lesser restrictive alternatives to protect Gabriella? Would a power of attorney work in your situation?
Well, she makes her own mind up, but I don't think a power of attorney because I don't think she doesn't understand the concept. I mean, she understands the concept of marriage, like that's a mom and a dad, but she doesn't know everything that goes in with the marriage. She doesn't know what will be expected of her or what this man or woman might do. She's not able to defend herself.
Okay.
And I just don't want her with everything going on nowadays, and I just don't want anybody to take advantage of her the wrong way possible.
Okay. And have you completed the guardianship training?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is there any thing that would disqualify you from being the guardian?
No, I've even taken extra classes with special needs kids. I work with special needs kids in elementary from the 3 to 5-year-old program. So I do training too, with updated training courses that come along, or new things that they learn. Like, hey, we've learned this about autism, or hey, we've learned weakness that might help with speech or with different therapy sessions. She does private therapy and everything still. I've tried to do as much as I can to help her.
Okay. Have you ever been convicted of a felony?
No.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a little bit about Gabriella. Is she able to work? Could she hold down a job?
No, it just depends on what because I've tried to look at, because we go to Market Street a lot because they hire kids with disability, the one on 19th Creek. I don't know if they all do, but some of them I've recognized that they've been in the same program as her from them being older. And I see them working, but because they have more muscle control, they're able to stop. They're able to, she's not able to do that because of her muscle weakness. Like she gets so fatigued in her with her fingers, she drops stuff a lot. And so sometimes she can get hurt. Like I'm still teaching her how to, like she does chores at home, and it's still kind of hard for her to get the concept of it's being clean or not clean and stuff like that.
Right.
We're still, it's just.
Okay. Does she have a source of income?
She does have her own source of income, which is with SSI disability. And that's how she buys everything that she wants. She buys her clothes, she buys her backpack. We don't let her go without anything. Her needs come first.
Other than Social Security, disability, does she have any other sources of income?
Yes, she has me, and then she has her dad.
Okay, but her personally?
Oh, no.
Okay.
We're working on her art, so maybe eventually she might be a famous artist, and then y'all will be able to say, hey.
Right. Okay. Your Honor, those are, I have no further questions.
All right, Mr. Jones.
Your Honor, I don't believe I have any questions of this witness, but in a minute I'll express my remarks regarding my report unless you want me to give them now.
Oh, we'll just hold off just a second. Let me get,
All right.
let's get Mr. Reyna to see if you have any other evidence or testimony you wish to
All right,
present.
sir.
I have no further evidence or witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Jones.
Your Honor, I went ahead and filed a brief report regarding this matter. Obviously, it's apparent to me based upon the physician's CME as well as Ms. Worf's report that a guardianship is appropriate in this case. I'm sorry that Mr. Hinojosa cannot also participate, but I have no doubt that he will continue to love his daughter, and because based upon my conversation with both of them when I went to the home, I believe Miss Olguin's mother's house, they both have Gabriella's best interest at heart. I have no doubt that they will support her and give her everything she needs. So I'm totally in support of the guardianship. Gabriella, although she can respond, a little bit, I don't believe she understands the concept of guardianship, obviously. So I was not able to discuss that with her specifically. She just wouldn't understand it. But I think it's appropriate and necessary, and I think that Victoria will be an excellent guardian for her daughter. And so I support it wholeheartedly.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jones.
You're welcome.
Mr. Reyna, do you have any closing statements you wish to make?
No, Your Honor. Other than we would request that the court set a bond and an amount to pay Mr. Jones for his role as attorney ad litem.
Thank you. Okay. Ms. Worf, as the court investigator, and I know some things have come up today, but as court investigator, have you heard anything today that would lead you to either change or alter your report?
No, Your Honor, I think that Mr. Jones put everything perfectly. I would concur with his assessment and everything that he reported.
All right, thank you. Okay. Thank you all very much. I do want to, well, we'll just start here. After considering the evidence and the arguments of counsel, the court finds first by a preponderance of the evidence that the court indeed has venue in this case because the proposed ward, Gabriella Olguin Hinojosa, is a resident of Lubbock County, and that the person to be appointed as guardian is eligible to act as guardian and is a proper person to be the guardian, and that the proposed ward is totally without capacity to care for herself or to manage her property. The court also finds by clear and convincing evidence that alternatives to guardianship that would have avoided the need for the appointment of a guardian have been considered and are determined not to be feasible. That supports and services that are available to the proposed ward that would have also avoided the need for a guardianship today have been considered and are also determined not to be feasible. It is in the proposed ward's best interest to have this court appoint someone as the guardian of the person. The proposed ward's rights and property will be protected by the appointment of a guardian. Okay. The court further finds it has examined the criminal history of the applicants. The court finds that the applicant, Edward Hinojosa, is unqualified, therefore, under Texas Estates Codes 1104.352 and 353, therefore is unqualified to serve as a guardian. The court now also finds that it has examined the criminal history of applicant Victoria Olguin and finds that based on the criminal history and the testimony that the applicant is not disqualified to serve as guardian. Therefore, it is the order of the court that Gabriella Olguin Hinojosa is an incapacitated person and that applicant Victoria Olguin is now hereby appointed as guardian of the person. The court further finds that the powers to be exercised by the guardian will include all of the powers and authorities granted to guardians under the Texas Estates Code. Now, we do require all of our guardians to post a bond. The minimum bond amount in Lubbock County is $100. And so, Ms. Olguin, you will be required to post a $100 bond. Mr. Reyna is going to help you get that up to the clerk and get that all straightened out before you can get your letters of guardianship. Mr. Hinojosa, I'm so sorry. I know that everything that I've read and everything that I've heard, you're a great dad. But let me tell you, that doesn't change today, okay? It does not change. You're still Gabriella's dad. That's always going to be there. But for legal purposes, and this is what I'll explain, guardianship is a legal thing, all right? Because Gabriella has turned 18, she has now become by law an adult. But clearly Gabriella is going to need some help, you know, for a while, probably for the rest of her life. And that's okay. That's what we're here for. We're here to take care of her. And so are you. And that doesn't change. But the legal thing that we have to put together really disqualified you. And I'm so very sorry about that. I'm heartbroken because of that. But I do want you to know, and I want you to really hear from me, that doesn't change anything on how you take care of your daughter. You need to keep taking care of her the way you did yesterday, the way you've done today, and the way you will do it tomorrow and for the tomorrows to come. You need to still be doing that, okay? All right. Okay. Thank you. First of all, thank you. We don't see too many dads stepping up the way you've stepped up, and and let me honor you for that today, okay? All right. All right. Okay. Now, Ms. Olguin, I need to talk to you for a second because now you are appointed as the guardian. which means that you are now under this legal partnership that you and I have to help take care of Gabrielle. Like we said, even though the calendar flipped over and she turned 18, she still needs her mommy. She still needs you to make decisions for her and to help her. And I think she agrees with that because she's a very beautiful woman, very, very beautiful. And so she's going to need you, and you're going to need the court to help you, give you that legal help. So give you that piece of paper so that you can do those legal things, like make sure that her medical stuff is taken care of, make sure that housing is taken care of. And to that end, I want to remind you, because we have this legal partnership, you and I, in taking care of Gabrielle, you're going to be under a duty to provide all of her food, clothing, shelter, medical care, just as long as her resources will allow that to happen. That'll be your duty. And again, you've had this duty. This has been your duty. And so we're not really, as I talked to Mr. Hinojosa, this doesn't change anything. What you've done before and how you've taken such great care of Gabriella is how you're going to keep doing that. Nothing changes today. We're just giving you that legal help that you need as things happen either today or in the future. Okay, that's all we're doing. But I do want to remind you of a couple of things is with your legal duty. One is address. Okay, and this is going to be very important. I need you to remember this. If you are changing addresses, you personally, you must let the court know.
Okay.
If Gabriella changes addresses, the court must know. There may be a time where she can live on her own or live outside of your home. That may happen. That's up to you. But when that time comes, or if that time comes, you must notify the court. We always need to know where your address is, and we always need to know Gabriella's address, okay? So make sure you're doing that.
Yes.
Also remind you that an annual report will be due every year. Well, that's kind of why they call it an annual report. Sorry about that. But every year you will need to submit an annual report. And it's very important. It has two purposes. One is it lets us know how Gabriella is doing. And the second is, though, your guardianship letters are only good for 1 year. That's it. 12 months. After that, they expire. Now, in order to get them automatically renewed, you have to submit that annual report. And once that's accepted by the court, then your letters are automatically renewed for the next 12 months, okay? So make sure that you are getting that annual report in. You can download that off of the county court website. You can certainly contact our office or Ashley Wharf's office and Mr. Reyna's office as well to make sure you get that. I usually try to remember things kind of based on holidays. So, you know, it's July the 20th. So you figure if it's about Independence Day, about July the 4th of July, Independence Day, you might want to think about the annual report. That'd be a kind of a good memory reminder that, oh, it's January 4th. It's July 4th. I've got to get the I got to get the report in. July 4th, get the report in. Okay? Gabriella is going to help you remember.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Now there's a document that you'll need to sign called an oath. And when you sign that document in the presence of a notary, that will be your oath to do to well and truly do the job of a guardian. Also, I've talked to you about the $100 bond that will need to be up to the clerk's office as well. And as soon as the clerk gets all that paperwork together, then she's going to issue you letters of guardianship. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Mr. Olguin, if you will just go ahead and submit a new order, please. That will reflect. All right. Mr. Reyna, sorry.
Yes.
I'm looking. Mr. Reyna, if you will submit a new order, the court would appreciate that very much.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Jones, thank you for your service to this family and for your service to the court. You're now hereby discharged as ad litem. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Wharf, thank you. Thank you for those early morning phone calls. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for what you do for our families. Thank you. Means a lot to me. Mr. Reyna, do you have any questions?
Yes, Your Honor, just one. Mr. Jones's fee.
He will submit that to the court as a separate order.
Okay, so I need to take that out of my order.
Please.
I will do that.
If you don't, I'll line it out. So if you're,
Okay, I'll take it
you're
out.
submitting a new order, so just go ahead and just delete that paragraph. Mr. Jones will send his to the court as a separate filing.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you all very much. Gabriella, it's good to see you. Bye. Take care of yourself. Mr. Hinojosa, thank you, sir. And Miss Olguin, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. You've got a great looking family there.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. If there's nothing further, we're dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thanks, Abel.